Hello.
Hello.
Happy Wednesday. Do I say that every time?
Yeah, you can say that every time. That's our tradition now.
Okay, that's our tradition. Okay, welcome to the Glass House.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Glass House.
We now have an audio audience. I love it. Yay.
Anyway,
We gotta get
uh, welcome everybody. As you can tell, we're a little bit goofy today. The Before we jump in this week's episode is a little bit different. We have no guest. It's just me and Shera. So, how are you today, Shera?
I'm great. They should be thrilled. Thrilled. So I would love for everyone to say hi. What do they say on those horrible videos? Say hello and tell us where you're from. So I'd love to see if we get lots of comments today, and I'm going to try to pay attention to them. I'm getting better at this. I thought last week I didn't have any technical errors, but I did. Just small ones. Yeah. So maybe this week there won't be any technical errors. We're live. Can people hear us? All the good things. We'll see. If I can get through a whole one, it'd be kind of amazing. But I'm well. I had a really good week. Lots of things are happening. We'll talk a little bit about those today. I'm super excited about it. And I'm also excited about today. I think that we're going to have a great conversation about some really phenomenal things. So let's kick it off.
Excellent. So we're calling this episode right now kind of like a download, like a news desk format, where we break down what's actually happening right now in AI in business. What it means for you is that what you should be paying attention to, right? Think about it as your monthly briefing from the inside and outside, which is what we do here at the Glass House. We're also giving you a heads up. We're taking a short break next week because one of Miss Shera here has been asked to participate in some women's group initiative. And so, Shera, you want to tell us a little bit about it before I start?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So next week I'm doing a networking event. It's a group of women in business at all phases and levels of their business, right? So they're going to be people that are starting businesses, growing their businesses, looking to network. It's an organization with over 10,000 women. And they've asked me to facilitate I think some sessions or one session. I haven't gotten all the details yet. I'll find more in the next few days. I'll report back afterwards, and it'll be on our Instagram and on our LinkedIn and everything. So watch out for it. But it's I'm honored. I'm really honored that they found me and asked me to do it. So that's why we won't be on next week.
Yeah, but that's super exciting. I'm sure you will do them proud. So. I'm waiting I can't wait to hear about it when you get back for sure. But when we come back, we have a brand new guest. So we're going to have a guest for that next episode. So, but trust us, this one is going to keep you thinking until then. So let's get into it. Let me just throw the number out there. $670 billion. Billion. Yeah. That's what Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Google are collectively investing in AI infrastructure this year. Not over the next decade. This is this year, 2026. To put that in perspective, that's more than the Apollo program, more than the entire interstate highway system, more than any capital project in American history relative to GDP. The only thing bigger was the Louisiana Purchase.
Oh God, I have to remember my history now. Here's the thing though. Let's just talk about this for a second. The statistic that we keep hearing, and it's all over the place, is that 95% of all AI pilots are failing. Okay, pilots fail. That's why they're a pilot, right? We want to try them out. We want to see what's going on. It's fine. However, it's still a huge number and it's still significant, right? And that number is coming from the World Economic Forum. It wasn't in Davos, right? It's not some blog. It is $670 billion going in with a 95% failure rate coming out. And here's the thing that they talked about. The reason, and this is what got me, okay? The reason is not the technology. We can't say it's because AI doesn't work, although in the last week I've had issues. It is that organizations are embedding new systems without their people ever embodying them. And this is what gets me going.
And here's the part that affects every business owner. For every business owner listening right now, whether you run a 10-person firm or a 10,000-person organization, while all this money is pouring into AI infrastructure, most businesses hasn't even asked the basic question: what does AI say about me when someone asks?
Okay, so that's what this episode is about. We're going to do something different. As you said, there's not a guest this week. It's just the two of us. We joked earlier, this is like SNL, like the old days of SNL. Who are the two? Is it Tina Fey?
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler.
Tina Fey and Amy Poehler. Oh, that works.
Yeah.
That kind of works.
Who's Tina Fey? Amy Poehler, I guess.
Yeah, and I listen to Amy Poehler's podcast. I love her. Anyway, I digress as usual, but that's okay. So, we're going to talk about AI in business, what it means for our listeners, what it means for everyone, what we need to pay attention to. And so we're going to call this the download. This is our new format that we're going to do.
Yeah. This is not every time, but this is like when we want to just wrap things up, and if there's anything significant that we want to talk about, that not just AI, but as you guys probably noticed, we talk about AI, but majority of what we talk about is how humans still interact, right? And how humans are adapting to AI. So we want to make sure we're very clear that although we love AI and what it does for us, we want to make sure that we are responsible and ethically using the tool as well. So anyway, let me go back. I'm Daisy Watkins, founder of DW Conceptz and LumaPath.ai. I focus on the outside, how AI platforms see your business, how you show up in the digital world, and how to make sure that the world's perception matches your reality.
And I'm Shera Haliczer, the founder and chief momentum officer of Engage 3P. And I focus on the inside, the people, the process, the platform, diagnosing the gap between what's embedded in your organization and what's embodied in your humans. And I look for the friction because you can't see from the inside, right? We find that leaders respond to the loudest noise in the room. It's very easy to want to bat that away. And that may not be the problem worth solving.
Absolutely. Let's get into it, Shera. So just like we said, this is going to be in a format of we're just bouncing some things around. So we're going to talk about a couple stories. So my first story today is, this is very personal. This is actually kind of personal for me because I've been tracking this since December, when the code first leaked that ChatGPT is now running ads. You've probably seen a lot of posts.
I got to stop you for a second. You're frozen, so we cannot see your wonderful present. There you go. You're back. Fantastic.
Okay. I don't know why I keep doing that. Every time I switch to something that is in front of me. So am I better now?
No, you're frozen again.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dead serious. At least it's not a horrible expression like, okay, there you are. You're back.
So I don't know why he's doing that. So let me try again.
No, you're frozen again.
All right.
Are you switching off the screen?
No, I don't know what's going on. So am I still frozen right now?
You are.
Weirdest thing ever. All right.
Now you're back.
Now I'm back.
Now you're back.
All right. Hang on. Let me fix something here, Shera.
Okay.
I don't doing that. My apologies, everybody. See, you spoke about not having technical difficulties. Now it's happening. So stop saying that.
I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'm sorry. Oh no.
All right. So what was I saying? Oh, ChatGPT is now running ads. So let me click on a button here to make sure that I'm seeing it. My bad, guys. So this is why we are humans. This is not rehearsed. We are just being raw with what we're talking about. So anyway, I'm following the story since December about ChatGPT running some ads
Okay.
in inside ChatGPT.
Okay.
So, okay, go ahead. And then, so AI now confirmed that they're testing some ads now for free users. Okay,
So wait,
what the
we talked about this. I have to stop you for 1 second. We talked about this once before, and I'm still so confused. So if someone is using ChatGPT for free, where is it going to be like in Google where it like puts the ad at the top or puts it in a thing like Facebook, or what is this going to be?
if you haven't gone in there lately, it's actually on the top. It shows images of, there's going to be some images in there, and it will actually talk about the company itself. So it's just it's on beta right now. So some of you
Okay.
might see it's not seen it. So if there's anybody that has been in ChatGPT lately and have seen something different, where all of a sudden when you ask for a recommendation, it's now showing some images.
All right.
There's
If
it's kind
anybody
of
is
almost like
on,
Google.
oh, okay. Uh, okay. We have a LinkedIn user. Laura, is that you? I have to ask if it's Laura because our friend Laura was a LinkedIn user last week, and I'm going to call her out if that's her again. And if not, that's okay. Um, if anybody is getting these things on ChatGPT, I'd love to know because I'm not on ChatGPT very much, to be fair, and I haven't seen it. So,
All right. So no, that's a good point because we all have our favorite tools that we use now. But for those that are constantly using ChatGPT, it's still the most used out of all
right,
the LLMs that are out there.
right,
So um, when this first came out, it's so they have this thing that they're doing right now where they're testing it, right? So they have confirmed that they're testing ads for free users. That's where they're showing the ads right now is on the free
okay,
user side and not on the paid version yet.
okay,
Um, and it's basically it's almost like I still honestly have to look deep into it. I'm just obviously researched this before the show this last couple of days. It's like an $8 a month to go on a plan, and the tier is depending on the tier that you're at. So right now, stay ad free for now, but here's why this matters. The ads are clearly labeled. They're separated from responses. And OpenAI says that they won't influence the answers. Okay. But let's be honest, when a platform starts running ads, the dynamic
hmm
changes always.
okay. So this is the opposite of if I say something, the thing over there on the table or my phone. I'm not saying it by name because then it starts, or my phone that I've turned off. Um, starts sending me images or talking about it, right? It's the opposite of that. They're saying that they're not going to influence the decisions based on the questions we ask, based on the ad that's there. Like
Correct.
there's not going to be priority for those ads. So it's just a visual cue for people to see what. Okay.
So they also have parameters around it where you're just not going to show up there. You still have to be seen as a trusted source, meaning
Who's
your AEO still matters. Your answer engine optimization of it matters. You still have to be credible and meet the standards of how you're going to be recommended.
But that's going to be biased to OpenAI, is it not? I mean, are they going to make the decision as to what they think is the best? I mean, if I'm paying them to put my ad up there, then they're going to. I mean, I'm going to be a little skeptical here. A little, they're going to say, "Well, you're paying me millions of dollars." I'm going to say, "You're great," and I'm going to make sure you're up there because you're paying me versus the other guy who's not. Right? I mean, am I getting this right?
You're no. Well, two things, right? So your credibility needs to be there through AEO, but they also have. You're just not going to be able to throw. If you look at Google right now, so hang on, let me back up. I'm kind of
Okay.
elaborating here. Let me back up. So if you go to Google right now, there's three sections, right? You have the sponsored. No, so
hmm
sorry. You have the
hmm
AI mode on top, and then
hmm
you have the sponsored section.
hmm
Sponsored section doesn't matter even what keyword you put in there, but if it's in the keyword that they want to promote their product or their company in, and it
hmm
doesn't then speak to what you're really searching for, just because they paid, you show up anyway. And it clearly says it's sponsored, right? And then the
hmm
next is really the ones that really matter that matches the keyword search you did.
Okay.
Right? So in Google space, which is in the browser, you pay no matter what. And Google doesn't really care whether
Okay.
you match what that search is. In
Okay.
ChatGPT, before you can show up on that sponsored section, you have to meet some criteria that it's actually part of what the human is asking from the prompt that was put in,
Okay. Okay.
right? They're just not going to throw you up there just because let's just use, let's say, marketing agency as an example for in
Mhm,
my world, right?
mhm, mhm.
Give me the top 3 marketing agencies here in Las Vegas, right?
Okay.
I could pay to be sponsored, but ChatGPT or OpenAI is going to look at because they have to still source and get the answers through my website or in my digital footprint.
Okay. Okay.
This you actually rank in answering those questions for the human, right? If my website is not designed to match the data sets that ChatGPT has put out there,
Mhm,
they say to me, improve your branding first, and
mhm.
then I can take you as a sponsored ad. Make sense?
Yeah. I'm still a
Question.
little skeptical, but
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. All
So
right.
that's exactly the question. And I wrote something, a 5-part LinkedIn series on this back in
Mhm,
December when the
mhm.
code appeared. And it was an actually Android beta that they did.
Okay.
So the short version is this. There's 2 tier opportunities. The tier 1 is right now, which still you're building something organically for AI to trust. That's the first tier, which is where we're all
Okay.
at. You know. And
Okay.
that's a service that I provide, right? How do you show up organically, authentically, and truthfully
Right.
in your digital footprint?
Right.
Making sure that when someone asks ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, or Perplexity about your industry, your business shows up accurately and favorably. That's AEO. That's answer engine optimization. That's what I do. Tier 2 is what's coming out, which is the paid placement ads, right? Inside AI conversations. But here's what Sam Altman said, and I want to be very clear. And this is important. He said Google's ad model works because search is imperfect. ChatGPT should make money by delivering the best possible answers. Just an example that I gave you, I can put in a keyword search and a sponsor that will show up, but it doesn't really answer what that human is putting in there. So the keyword, the search engine, which also is SEO, it's not
Mhm.
perfect. So it's not giving you the best possible answer. Hence why you click on those links, which I call the blue links on the browser.
Right.
Click, click, click,
Right.
click, click, until you get the right answer for your own filter and for your own search.
Mhm,
Whereas
mhm.
in the AI world, you put in it very specifically what you're looking for, and it breaks it down and gives you the top recommendation based on the filter search.
Okay. I I mean, I think at a basic level, I think about the way that I use AI today, right? I wouldn't want ads, so I would it's worth even paying $20 a month if I'm a ChatGPT user not to have it. I wouldn't want that kind of influence. I don't think I trust it, right? If they're doing it to drive revenue, and I get it because they're gonna spend $700 billion this year on whatever they're gonna spend it on, then I wouldn't want it, right? I would hope, but I'm going down a rabbit hole here, but like how then do we trust that what we're getting in the LLM is still honest and it isn't biased by these ads? Just because they're not surfacing them and we don't see them, does that mean that they're still not that we're not getting them?
Yeah, so that remains to be seen. So this is where their beta is. That's why they're doing it on the free version right now, and
Right.
perhaps see reaction, how people are going to respond to it. This is so unknown to everybody, just like anything else that AI is
Right.
out there,
Right.
and we see these changes constantly come out. But they're putting some money in it because they need to start making money. Okay, remember, the topic today is like a lot of things have failed with the AI coming out. And so, how are they going to monetize on it? And we also got to remember not to be anything else, but OpenAI is .org.
What? What? Wait, what?
Type it out. Type it out. Look for OpenAI and look at the address. It's .org. Another one.
come on. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Hold on.
All right, fact check me.
I real time. OpenAI.
Not in any of our conversations, by the way, guys. Like, this is just like,
No, it says openai.com.
yeah, no, it started with the .org. So just remember that. So they just started to monetize now. Look at the history. So do a search on OpenAI. Anyway.
Wait, OpenAI.
Did it start as a .org?
Oh, it says the site can't be reached.
Yeah.
Okay, so they switched it.
Ask your other AI tool. How did OpenAI start?
Okay, I will. Do we want me to do it right now?
No, so I'll keep talking while you do.
I'm looking for this because this is gonna. Okay, I'm asking Claude.
All right, so this is exactly what I mean, Shera, with what's going on with OpenAI.
Okay, I'm getting an answer. Okay, let's see. I never type. I always do voice to text, and typing to text is like freaking me out now because okay, it's thinking about OpenAI's founding structure. Okay, here's the story. When OpenAI was originally founded as a not-for-profit in 2015, the goal of building safe and beneficial artificial general intelligence for the benefit of humanity. That didn't last. It was incorporated as a nonprofit in Delaware with initial funding of $1 billion from Sam Altman and Elon Musk. The idea was simple, blah, blah, blah. When it changed in 2019 because the nonprofit board determined that charitable gifts and grants were insufficient to fund the massive computing power required to develop AI. They set up a for-profit corporation with a cap on the amount of profits investors or employees could earn, yada, yada, yada. The problem, AI development turned out to require not billions, but hundreds of billions of dollars, complicated legal structure. In late 2024, proposed converting to a full for-profit, which triggered enormous backlash. Former employees, civil leaders, and academics warned. I remember that. I remember when all that went crazy. And then just in October, it announced adopted a new public benefit corporation structure after receiving approval from the Attorney General of California, yada, yada.
Yeah. So hence why in December they announced that they were going to start charging ads.
Wow.
So this is what's interesting is people talk about AI. There's some history to it.
Yeah.
And why economically this is affecting us, right? And
right.
why economically us, everybody that's using it, and especially those that are starting their own business, even as a consultant, why this matters, right? It's changing a lot of things that very subtle that we don't even realize. So anyway, this is exactly which means sorry, let me back up. Exactly, which means that businesses that build organic AI visibility now will have an advantage, even in the paid era. The organic presence becomes the foundation that either reduces what you need to spend on AI ads or makes your paid ads perform dramatically better. The businesses that ignore this and try to buy their way in later will pay a premium. So if you're not set up to be organically seen by AI right now, it's going to be tougher for you. This is where your question is, right?
So that's not just in purchasing ads. That's in, my phone just started doing something very weird. That's also, so that's not just in buying ads. That's just organically being found. So if I never intend to buy an ad, I'm still in that place where I need to make sure that I am authentically found and known and et cetera, which you hound me on weekly. And every time I change something and every time I do something, you remind me of that my website needs to be visible. No, it's true. You do. And I'm thrilled. Because I did not enter my mind, but like little things that you've told me, I'm going a little off track here, but little things you told me, like making sure that every time I'm on a podcast somewhere as a guest, it goes on my website so that there's more traction to the thing, or even have I published something, or like all of those things that build my credibility and my business's credibility. And then I become known in the world, because I don't ever think I will buy ads. Like, I don't see that as a future for me, at least not in anytime soon. I'm not a I'm not a B2C business necessarily. So, that wouldn't be the thing. I wouldn't see having an ad like that.
Yeah, and if you think about it, a lot of this perception too, right? If I am using AI, right, and just doing my
Mhm.
regular search or
Mhm.
regular prompt to ask for something, if I see
Mhm.
an ad up there, I'd be turned off, I think.
I would too. Yeah.
And often, like now you're buying your way inside AI. So it all depends. I mean, and people that actually have money and people that actually have money can still buy their way in. And this is why some outmen said, we're gonna have the guardrails. We're gonna make sure that we're not changing any of how we choose who goes up there. Your content still needs to matter. So we're gonna see. We don't know. This is still on beta. We're going to see who shows up there later on.
Okay, my eyes, I don't know if anyone noticed how my eyes rolled back in my head when you said roll back.
All right.
Um,
Okay, go ahead.
no,
What's
I was
what's
just
why did you roll your eyes, Shera?
yeah, they're going back. I'm such a skeptic. It's terrible. I'm such a skeptic.
That's
All right.
okay.
So I love this side of it, right? The outside of it, kind of the perception side, whatever. I want to, if you don't mind, I'm going to grab the hold for a moment and
Please.
let's talk about the inside, right? Let's go back to Davos, where we got this insane number, right? World Economic Forum is talking about it. Davos, of course, is this just enormous conference that every leader goes to, every major business person. It's well respected, at least it has been, right? And the CEO of Philips is telling an interesting story that hit me hard. So you saw it from your side, from the outside. I'm seeing it from the inside. And the Philips CEO said, his name is Roy Jacobs. He said, the problem is not the technology, right? And this is what I've been saying forever, long before even the AI was the big player. The problem is not the technology. The problem are the processes inside an organization. And I will take it a step further. It is the adoption of it, what I like to talk about, the difference between embedded and embodied, right? The idea that we're looking at, because people are still in companies. I know that, some want that to go away. But if all of these changes, technology, great, put in new technology. If the process isn't first designed and made to be right for the organization, and then that process isn't truly embodied by the people in it, and really also by the organization, right? It needs to be part of the foundation and the thread of how they work. I'm going to come up with a better statement on that one, but then what's the point, right? Because having spent over blah, 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 years watching organizations implement new technology, implement new process, implement new organizational structure, implement new sales leadership, you name it, okay? And then fast forward, we go through a change management program. It is exhausting. It is expensive, right? The statistics are unbelievable that the number of people who leave because they are wiped out and burnt out and can't do both jobs at the same time, etc. And change management says, oh, isn't this great? We ticked a box. We did the training. We communicated. We told people. We had a round table. We had what are those things called? A town hall. And the CEO told everybody, isn't this great? And nothing's there. And slowly, old habits come back. Slowly, instead of this fabulous new technology that, sure, they're forced to use it because they have nothing else, except guess what? They do. They have paper, they have Excel, they have their email. Like I've seen it with CRMs, right? Where they implement these whole CRMs and then sales leaders say, I don't have the data. Well, because it's in their emails and they don't want to use it and it's too. So the embodiment of change, and this is what I've spent a lifetime building, the embodiment is what is important, not the change itself, right? Making sure that, in fact, they focus differently on how this comes about. And so that's what I've created in the last year, which is what I call Change Embodiment. And it's an entire methodology around looking at the difference between embedding change and embodying change. And I'm really excited about it. I've been launching little bits and pieces over the last couple of weeks. I have a white paper that I'm releasing about it, and anybody that's interested, DM me, we can talk about it. I think that it comes from being in the room. It comes from, and here we have the CEO of Philips saying the exact same thing, right? Which is, what is it that prevents people from truly taking hold? I may have told the story here before, but I worked with a client a few years ago, wonderful company. And they had this very old ERP system. Little thing is there. And they hated it. They did nothing but complain about it and complain about it. And finally the organization said, okay, we're going to do something new, right? We're going to put in something new. And went out, spent millions, but a whole new ERP, went through the implementation. I came in to lead the change management effort. I kid you not. These are people who've been complained for years. We get into training for this new, modern, pretty. They were on something that was so old school, had no mobile capability, it was green screen. What is that? Like the 80s, right? Like or the 90s? I don't know what it like. Green screen. Like it's like Pong level. Okay. And I kid you not. I cannot make this up. People in the room said, "Oh, well, this isn't as good as what we had. What we had was blah blah blah." I fell to the floor, literally like fell off my chair laughing and said, great, here we go. But that's not because it was bad. That's human nature. We're afraid to change. And so what I'm looking at is how do we look at all of this differently? How do we engage differently with our organizations to say it is the humans who are expected to change. They're expected to embody a new way of working, a new way of being, a new way of thinking. And so I have this entire methodology built around focusing on those humans, understanding, are they ready, right? Are they truly ready to embrace it? And I could talk about this forever, so I'm going to stop for a minute.
Yeah, that's okay. No, you're making a very good distinction. People are selling consultancy or have their expertise in change management, right? It's just, once again, that's the word, the key word is you're managing a change. You're just managing a change, but you're not embodying it, meaning you have to own it, meaning you have to not, walk the walk, talk the talk, and really show you as an example, not just as a leader, as a manager, not just we're not talking about your managers that are working with you side by side. We're talking about your leaders need to really embody it so that your whole entire organization, whether you have 5 people in your group or just there's 2 of you in your company and you're making millions of dollars, it is possible. Like the value of your organization or your revenue it's not counted by the number of employees that you have.
No.
Right?
No.
You know what I mean? So it's how you really as a leader are embodying that and executing it. Execution is one thing. Right? Yeah. Execution is one thing, that's change management. But embodying it and living it and feeling it is really what we want to talk about, is still being human. In every topic that we have, we always go back to the behavior.
Right. So I call the foundation of this MIA, and I coined a little funny thing. And I said, when MIA, which is motivation, intention, and attention, right? This is what I'm measuring throughout the entire program. Because we're looking for signs of burnout and signs of frustration and signs of people that are not grasping it, right? Throughout the program and beyond, across the organization. So I coined the phrase, when MIA drops, people go MIA. Right? Because that's the key element that we're looking for throughout the program to understand, how do we ensure that we're going to have success here? How are we going to see success down the line? The other critical thing that I'm going to mention, because I wrote the business cases, I spent 10 years writing business cases to help companies understand why and how they're going to buy, in this case, it was software. I deliver not just a return on intention. I focus on the return on investment. I focus on the return on intention. Why were we in that room with the board putting forth a business case to say, I need $5 million, $100,000, $100 billion, whatever that is, right? What was the reason for that? And is that still the problem we're looking to solve? And we need to continue to look at that through any kind of initiative. I hate the word transformation, but any kind of initiative, because businesses change, times change. I mean, I hate to go back because I can't believe I'm saying this 6 years. If an organization was doing something in January of 2020 and kicked off something in January in 2020, was it still the same thing that they needed to do come August with Corona? Maybe, maybe not. Certainly it wasn't true in the airlines, right? When everything shut down, or in hospitality, or in all these organizations that their entire business models had to shift, right? So we look at, is that something that we still need to focus on, right? We look at that throughout the program. And then we look at, are we getting the return on that initial intention? And if not, what are we getting, right? We're looking at the strategy of the business along with everything that we need to do. And we can pivot at any time if necessary, right? We can always keep an eye on that from a strategic perspective or from a transactional perspective. So I think that it's really important to understand that, because businesses constantly are changing. Everything is changing every second of every day. It's not something that we start and stop at any given time. We're fluid in everything that we do. And we need to be able to pivot. I love Shark Tank, right? I watch it all the time. I watch the repeats. And one of the things that the guys say when these entrepreneurs come up is they say, wow, I'm impressed that you were able to pivot. Like, they say that all the time. They were able to figure out what they needed to do when that didn't work. Well, the bigger the organization, the bigger the challenge in pivoting, because it's a bigger beast to have to do something. And if we're not paying attention to that in a really significant way, then what? We don't wait till it's over and go, oh, we need to do something else entirely. So the last thing that I will say about this, because it's more food for thought, and you've heard me say this before, change management, the traditional lovely change management that's been around for 20 years, it's ticking boxes. AI can do that. Sorry.
Yes.
I mean, that's where, and the consultancies know it. And that's where the notion of what's happening with AI is starting to change the way that we approach business. If it's transactional in nature, if there's no human element, if there's no, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, right? I think with Marcus, if I say to you, how are you? And you say, I'm fine. If I'm not looking you in the eye, if I'm not looking at your body language, if I'm not listening to your tone, it's like saying, what's turkey? Is it a meat? Is it an animal? Is it a country?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And when you talk about, change management can be done by AI, it's literally, that's it. There's no humanity in it.
Yeah.
You're just putting a change out, and it's a process, right? And it's very linear.
Right. It's linear, and you say, great, we did it. It's done. Fantastic.
Right. So now let's proceed. We save money. We're going to make this much money. The theory is the outcome or your hopeful goal will come true, but what goes on through that change management is basically what you do. So I love it. So, and you talked about the mid-market as well. You talked about, how businesses are. So which brings me to the next story that I have here.
I love
You're going to love this one. It validates everything, I guess, you've been saying, right, about the embedded versus embodied.
Okay.
Davos published a piece. It's called "It's Time for AI's Mid-Market Business Moment."
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting.
So the mid-market is changing. Okay, that's literally what they called it. The missing middle between startups and multinationals. The data mid-market companies account for 1/3 of private sector GDP and employment in developed economies. These are the companies that created 2.2 million jobs during the recession, while large businesses were shedding 3.8 million. They're the growth engine, and the WEF says that AI is about to democratize access to consulting frameworks and analytics that were previously preserved for Fortune 500 companies.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a promise there, Shera. And there's a cap.
So mid-market is not a solopreneur, is not a small business, right? I think there's a challenge around what is small business. Is it based on revenue? Is it based on number of humans? When I was in the business of selling HR software, it was based on the number of humans, right? That's how we looked at what was enterprise, what was small market, what was mid-market. Did they give a definition in this scenario as to what was considered mid-market? I don't want to challenge you on that. I'm just curious.
This is just free conversation. They're calling it a mid-market. The catch is that, just how people launch, right? It's basically, they call it a mid-market because multinationals, meaning
Right.
this is the definition of multinationals, mid-market
Right.
is anything underneath that. So it
Oh.
could be everybody. So they're the ones that actually produce jobs
Right.
when this
Right.
happened during the recession versus the multinationals were cutting jobs.
Right.
Cutting off jobs. So this mid-market is the one that's very going to be critical in the survival of AI. I mean, in the survival of the economy, basically.
Well,
So go ahead.
No, go ahead. What were you saying?
The catch is that 95% of AI pilots are failing. This is part of our topic, right?
Right.
Its own report from the WEF says that companies that succeed are the ones that redesign work for human AI collaboration,
Right.
and strengthen data foundations. And they estimate mid-market companies could capture $2 trillion in AI value.
Yeah.
That's equivalent to Canada's, I'm a proud Canadian, that's equivalent to Canada's entire GDP, but only if they get the foundation right. Again, it's all about foundation.
And they're saying foundation, the part of that foundation is AI. That's going to be a critical part in all of that.
Correct.
Well, it's funny because when I was doing my research, the one of the things that stood out for me when you talk about creating new business and creating new jobs, and we're going to have a few episodes coming up about pivoting in this new marketplace and about kind of what's happening in the job market as a whole based on all the stuff that's happening. One of the things came up was that there was a QuickBooks study that talked about how 1 in 3 Americans are planning to start a business this year or in the next year, 2026, 2027, right? Which is a 94% jump. Now, why? We don't know. We can make assumptions. Mm-hmm. Part of it is because people can't find jobs. I mean, that's a hard fact, right? And one of the greatest challenges they're saying is cost. And you and I, having started businesses, know, and especially in the AI era and everything that we need today, the cost of having your own business is astronomical. I just got my bill today for my website and for the apps that I need for my website. And that was another $1,000 today. And all the AI tools that we need and all the ways that we need to be seen and all the platforms that we need to, you can't just hold out a shingle anymore, right? No matter what the business is. How do we communicate? The CRMs that we need and the marketing tools that we need. And it's crazy. And I think that that's the thing for people that are starting businesses to understand, what do they really need, right? How to scale, how to start right, how to not make the mistake that I certainly made buying a bunch of stuff that I never needed that now I'm canceling all over the place. Because of course we do the sign up and here's my credit card and then I get the bills for it. But I think that's really important. What is it that a new business really needs to be successful and to get started? And learning what that's going to be about is going to be critical for success, because it takes 2 seconds to be buried under all of that, not to mention the management of all of it, aside from the cost of it all, right? So yeah. I think that is really a critical piece when we look at how businesses are shifting. Now, the statistic that I heard once is that 98% of all business in America is small business. Like the percentage of it is small business, right? You think about all the little stores that are open and all the things that happen. And I think that's what we're seeing. I think people are seeing that, to your point, big business is getting smaller and smaller. We did an episode a couple of weeks ago about the layoffs that have happened at Amazon, the layoffs that have happened at what was that company that I'd never heard of that did mortgages? And what was it called? I still don't remember. Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
They were insignificant because they did such a horrible job about it.
Exactly. But the stuff but the stuff that's going on in large corporations with the leveraging of AI to then bring down the number of employees, because that's the most expensive cost they think. We'll see where that lands. I think that's a really interesting thing, because here we are, right? Here we are with this scenario where people are saying, I'm not getting a job. I'm going to start my own business. So what do I need to do? How do I do it in this new age? How am I seen when I go out and create a website? I mean, I never thought I'd have I still call it a podcast, but whatever you want to call it. I never thought I'd be doing this. This was not my plan. This was not the thing that I thought I'd be doing. I mean, I love it, but I think that this is really critical, and I'm so grateful that I know you and you helped me, but I don't know what I would have done otherwise. It'd be
Well,
blinding.
vice versa. So let's give each other some love here right now. You've taught me a lot with, I've always been in the inside as well, right? And so this
Right.
is a shift also. I mean, kind of the outside, do sales and and
Yeah.
doing dealing with operational stuff, right? To
Yeah.
come up with your embodied processes for your platforms, but also me being operational, managing MSPs from my previous lives, right? That's also inside. The outside is also the recruitment part. How do I represent the companies that I am servicing so that I
Right.
can recruit those people to want to work for them? So I embody both of those, right? The inside and the outside. So there's a shift while I'm doing marketing, but I also need to understand the inside so that I can represent you the best. You know what I mean? In the marketing perspective, anyway. So, Shira, I want to bring us back. I want to make sure conscious of the time as well. You spoke about something about Philips.
Yeah.
There's something going on with sorry about Philips
The
in
CEO.
that CEO, yeah, the
Mhm.
transformation that they're doing right now. So,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
so
that's what I was talking about earlier when I said that he said it's about the process. It's not about the technology, right? I mean, putting in technology, we can put in technology, right? If we have good technical people, technology can be put in, and it's getting easier and easier and easier and easier. I said a few years ago, probably 3, 4 years ago, I was working for a large systems integrator leading change management for a number of their projects. And I said, their business model, it has to change. We're not going to implement big tech anymore. It's not going to be, this is my opinion. People can say I'm crazy, but I think that apps are going to be like stuff you put on your phone. We're not going to, I mean, data is going to be the critical factor, but we're not going to have these massive implementations like we've had for the last 30 years, 40 years of technology. I think that stuff's going away, especially with AI. It can do a lot of the work, a lot of the heavy lifting. So it's the process, it's the organization, it's the way that we're operating, the way that we're working that is the critical factor as to whether or not something succeeds or fails.
it's absolutely true. You just said the word. It's a pattern everywhere. So a
Yeah,
solopreneur or an entrepreneur
yeah,
builds a beautiful website, but never updates the messaging to match who they actually serve now. So a lot
right,
has changed. So I've got to remember a lot of these websites were built before AI, right? So that's
right,
very critical for everybody to know. And I call out a lot of the healthcare systems or health or private practices or law firms. Before, when you make a change to your website, you're only thinking about what's my new address? Is there new parking? Is there a new phone number? Do we have a new employee coming in? Is there a new partner that we need to announce and put it in there? But have they looked at their current partners that have been in there for 10, 15 years? Have they changed anything in their profiles to speak about their current presence, or are they up to date with the latest law? What have they adapted in technology within
right.
their own organization? So a lot of these is very important these days, guys. So what I call in my service is a website refresh. Is part of AEO and part of being seen by AI is rebranding yourself
Yeah, yeah,
since AI came out, right? That's the
yeah,
core, the foundation of what I do is how do you brand yourself? What is your foundation now in the world of AI? And if you think you have a beautiful website that has all these nice videos and nice colors and all that kind of stuff, yeah, it's pretty. It's an impression that the humans have. But if you are really thinking about your business and how you're going to grow and how you're going to be recommended and referred and how people are going to buy from you, AI doesn't see those. It recognizes the patterns, pixels. We talked about this in some of our podcasts before. It sees it sees the matrix, zeros and eyes, right? See that matrix thing that goes on, that's real. Those, they don't see pixels. They don't see the colors that we see. They recognize based on the pattern on the back that there's something beautiful. Like Gemini can now describe a photo, which is impressive, but they see it as numbers. And sometimes even when you ask for a description, it still is a little bit off. And there's a couple of things that we've done in the past where you get frustrated because it's not changing the word when you ask it to write the text. Like,
it's not a word. It's
it's
pattern.
not a word. It's a pattern. Right? So same thing with your website. So for example, a mid-market company buys a CRM, but nobody, like you mentioned earlier, but nobody uses it consistently because the sales process was not defined. So same thing in healthcare practices, right? Invest in marketing automation, but the intake process is still broken, right? So this is where you come in, embed your processes, because if your intake is still not produced and you're not putting that information in your CRM, you're never going to get data. You're still working at it.
No, and our friend Marcus Mossberger from Lytics a few weeks ago talked about the change that's happening in healthcare. He's been in that space for years too, like you. And he said the entire shift that's happening in healthcare across the country is, it's not about taking care. I mean, it is. It's about taking care of the sick, but they want to keep the healthy healthy, make them better rather than just treating them after the fact, being more proactive in health than reactive to being sick. And that shift is massive, right? So if that's where everybody's going, to your point, then the information to get to those people, to get to those treatment centers, to get to whatever doctors, yada, yada, that has to also be represented, or you're not going to know where to go and who to contact.
You're absolutely right.
Right.
So there's so much we can still unpack. We can keep talking all day about these things, and we haven't even gone through our hot takes, which, by the way, was,
oh my God, we didn't do our hot take.
Anyway, let's pull this in together. We've covered a couple stories, and I think we get the point. And we could talk about this again on another series. Obviously, there's so much.
Can we do one or two quick hot takes?
Hot takes. Let me grab that thing. But before we do that,
okay, before we do that, okay,
let's talk about. I have something, I'm really excited about that we're doing. Is obviously our Glass House workshop.
Yeah.
It is exactly why we built the Glass House together. So we want to make sure that we are providing that, our knowledge and our experience for this. So everything we talked about today, the AI changes, sorry, I'm reading a little bit right now, and the transformational gaps. The Glass House is where we diagnose and close the gaps, right?
Yep.
So Shera, you want to talk about a little bit about it and what they would.
We just finished our first cohort. We launched in 2020. What year is this? 2026. So we launched in 2026. The Glass House, we have 3 different workshops for depending on the size and scope of a business. And it starts with foundation. It goes to the second level, which is growth, and the third level, which is thrive. And all of this can be found on the website. You can click the QR code, go to my website, go to Daisy's website. It's all there. We're starting our next cohort on March 19th. We would love, if anybody's interested, want to reach out to us and talk to us about it. We'll be happy to talk to you about it and have you join us. It's a month away. We're going to start again. Like I said, we just finished our first one, which went really well. We had amazing people. I have a video on my website of one of the moments, one of the really incredible moments that happened with one of our members. I'll let you go out and find it so you can see it. It made me realize I have to do my hair before I do these things because we do them on Zoom and I didn't think it'd be on my website, but okay. But it's really terrific. And it's an amazing networking opportunity, right? Because people are meeting people from all over the world. It's an incredible opportunity to learn from each other and to do the things at a really deep level that we're doing here. So again, all the information is on the website. Check it out. Let us know if you have any questions. We'd love to see you in one of our cohorts and talk to you about it.
Okay. So how much time do we have?
We have 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna look for one of my hot takes that I like.
Okay. I gotta look for one of mine too.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna do one for you. If
All
you
right.
can't explain what you do in 30 seconds, no AI tool can help you.
Say it again. If you can't
If
what?
you can't explain what you do in your business, so like the typical elevator pitch, if you can't give an elevator pitch in 30 seconds, AI can't help you anyway.
It's true.
You think that's true?
That's very true. Because if you do not properly put that elevator pitch the way AI should read it, AI is not still going to find you. You're still invisible. So you better perfect your elevator pitch, just like I am talking to you in person. If I don't articulate that properly, you're still a human. The human's still asking the question to AI. It
Yeah.
doesn't change.
I
That's
even say it gets worse. I think the advent of AI makes it even worse.
correct,
Right?
right?
Like that's where people, especially people in small business, are really having a challenge that they don't have. And this is one of the things we work on in our workshop. Having a really clear pinpoint understanding. And I will be so completely transparent, as we always talk about being authentic and being transparent. It took me 8 months, 7 months to get mine down for my business.
Mhm.
I wasn't being authentic in the way that I was talking about it. I wasn't where I needed to be in my business to figure that out. Like it took me time to get that down. And AI couldn't help me. I tried. Couldn't help
No,
me. Giving me
it's
stuff that was garbage.
now you feel it in your bone. Now you're passion. Now you feel that passion because now it's your true authentic self that's coming out.
Yeah.
I talked to my peers about it, and one of my peers is actually on this show right now listening. And she knows who she is. And I don't want to call her, but she's gone through this exercise alongside with me. And it takes a while. So until you find your true self, and you might want to start a business, AI is telling you this and that. This is what all the things that you can do. Wow, it's excellent. And I remember when we first met, you were going through the change of like, do we create apps? Do we create free
Right.
stuff? You know what I mean? We went through that process and it was painful. And I went through not going to bed till 4 in the morning building an app, thinking that's gonna be what my differentiator is. Guess what? That app is asleep right now.
Well,
I
I've told this many times.
with it.
I asked AI, I had this idea and I said, AI, is anybody else doing it? And the AI said, no, nobody else is doing it. I said, is it a good idea? Oh, it's a great idea. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's doing it because it was a bad idea. It was a bad idea. But, what did it know? All right, we have maybe one more minute. Do you have a hot take that you want to throw at me?
Yes, I do have a hot take to go for you with you. So,
Okay.
Change management is dead. Change
Yes.
embodiment is what actually works.
Yes. I couldn't agree more. I think that, as I said earlier, I think that I've done it too many times. I've watched it fail. I've watched how that doesn't bring to fruition the goal of the organization and the people. And I think that we need to move on. We spent 25, 30 years. It's time to move on.
Yeah, it's now to bring humanity back. And even though we thought that AI changed the way we do things, it's always been broken to begin with.
True.
AI is now making us see it a lot clearer and where the gaps are. And I think that's where people need to understand, right?
I
So
agree. I agree.
that's the best way to end it, is
Yeah.
that we still need to remind people AI is still a tool, humans still matter. So
That'll be on our merch. AI
yeah.
is great. We have to make merch now. We're going to talk about that. I want
I'll let
to,
you
as a
in.
thank everybody. Reach out to us, talk to us. If you want to be on the show, we would love to have you as a guest. Let us know what you want to talk about. If you have questions for us, you can reach out to us anywhere here on the screen, anywhere on LinkedIn, on all the other channels, on the emails, on the things, on all the ways that we reach out in the world. Daisy, it's been a pleasure. Thank you, as always, for this
Yeah.
insanely fast hour. I don't even know where
I
it
can't
went.
believe how we went through that without.
Have a wonderful week, everyone. Thank you.
For joining us, everybody. Bye bye.